Uh, Thank you for joining today's webinar. Looks like we've got a pretty good group. There may still be some people filing in a little bit late here, but that's okay. We're going to go ahead and get things kicked off. So first of all, thank you. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining today's webinar. My name is Tony Elwood. I'm one of the sales directors at ArrowStream. I'm joined by Michael Artman, Senior Solutions Consultant at ArrowStream. Today, we'll be discussing ArrowStream Central, our technology platform that's transforming the food service industry by streamlining supply chain operations. I'll start with a quick overview of ArrowStream and our impact on the industry. Following that, Michael will take us through a short demonstration, and then we'll wrap up with some Q&A. In the interest of time, if you do have questions during the presentation portion of today's meeting, please feel free to put it in the chat. I will monitor that and determine if it's something that we can quickly answer on the fly. If not, we'll make sure to address all of those questions and others during the Q&A portion of today's session. Let's dive in. ArrowStream Central is part of our supply chain visibility platform, which connects operators, distributors, and suppliers. Our network is vast. It spans over 1,300 distribution points, more than 9,000 suppliers and manufacturers, and over 300 restaurant brands and concepts. With $42 billion in spend under management and more than 120,000 operator locations, we support supply chain operations globally, monitoring 4.5 million inventory changes daily and handling 13,000 supply and quality alerts every day. So why ArrowStream Central? ArrowStream is the industry standard solution that offers a comprehensive supply chain visibility to help operators strengthen buying decisions, increase pricing accuracy, and protect their supply. By ensuring quality and enhancing partnerships, it empowers food service businesses to optimize their supply chain operations and drive more strategic outcomes across their network. So who is gaining a competitive advantage managing their supply chain with ArrowStream Central? As I mentioned a moment ago, ArrowStream is the industry standard supply chain visibility platform for the food service industry. With ArrowStream Central, our customers are able to identify opportunities to optimize and lower overall food spend. Fun fact, 60% of the top 100 chains use our technology to lower overall food spend, eliminate inventory issues, and as mentioned earlier, have a complete and accurate single source of truth for all of their supply chain data. So in terms of the key challenges we solve for operator supply chains, some of the most common challenges we solve include managing contracted prices, so ensuring real-time access to inventory data and addressing product and service issues and optimizing category spend management. For example, operators often struggle to know if they're paying the correct contracted price or where spend reduction opportunities may lie. Similarly, we consistently hear about lack of visibility into supplier and distributor inventory, making it very hard to identify risks and avoid stockouts and excessive surplus, which, as you know, is especially important around things like promotions and limited time offers. ArrowStream Central solves all of these challenges and answers all of these important questions and more with data-driven solutions from one system specifically tailored to the needs of the food service supply chain professional. Speaking of value, I thought we could take a minute to share more specifics and detail around where our customers are getting value and look at some of the key benchmarks for those who have implemented ArrowStream Central. First, we've seen a 90% reduction in inventory disruptions by proactively identifying risks through daily updates and predictive analytics from within the system. In terms of contracted price verification, our customers are typically able to recover between 1/4 to 1 full % of their contracted spend and reduce credit recovery times by 2 weeks. We also help identify purchasing compliance issues, with 1/2 of 1% to up to 3% of spend typically being non-compliant. This helps avoid premium costs while at the same time protecting the brand. New sourcing opportunities derived through our platform can deliver up to a 15 to 20% cost savings, along with 4 to 6% growth in managed overall spend. Our food service incident management solution captures 100% of delivery issues, increasing credit recaptures by 10 to 35% and reducing incident resolution time to under a week. Lastly, by automating and streamlining supply chain management, we've helped teams achieve an 80% reduction in time spent on manual efforts, what I call the data wrangling and the spreadsheet gymnastics of managing a supply chain without a platform in place. So now I'd like to have us go through a brief demonstration of the system, and I'll ask Michael Artman to take us through there. Michael, if you give me just 1 second, I'll make you presenter.
Well, thank you, Tony, and to the audience, thank you for participating and joining us in today's webinar. You should now see my screen has repopulated. Oh, let's go back. And it all starts with clean supply chain data. We are connected to over 1,300 distribution companies that we're pulling both spend and inventory data. But one of the values that ArrowStream provides to all of our customers is enhancing and normalizing that data. For example, in spend, people want to understand all of their categories and particular products that they're purchasing. But in many times we find in that data there are gaps and inaccuracies. And so our data services team and technology provides all of the accuracy needed for you to be able to report the volume and spend that you have. Customers can go beyond that to do very detailed reporting, understanding spend by distribution center, supplier, month, product. They can do analysis across the various different suppliers that they may be purchasing from to understand trends and pricing changes amongst those. And they can even build their own reports with a lot of different information, attributes, and metrics available for them to pull, save off that different version of report, and even run subscriptions on that data for those who like to receive email notifications of information themselves. Beyond that, we also have inventory data that comes and updates through our system throughout the day, giving customers the exceptions of understanding where they're at risk of being out of stock. At the detail level, it gives customers visibility by distribution center, when their estimated run out date may be of that key product, understanding how much is currently on hand, how much is coming inbound on replenishment purchase orders, and in the time of need of recovery, the ability to find substitution products, as well as other inventory available at different distribution centers, reducing the amount of times they may be out of stock. Beyond spend and inventory data, customers use our platform to manage all of their pricing terms, both supplier and distributor markup alike, giving them visibility of the timing of when those pricing terms are going to change. And that may be coming sourced from different avenues, whether they're sourcing direct, working with their distributor, or GPO programs. Our supplier pricing portal helps enable some of the administrative work that our operators are faced with when keeping those pricing terms up to date. Suppliers are now able to come in, provide those updated pricing here in the platform, allowing our operators to review the price change, approve it before it's sent out to their distribution centers for implementation. Those three tools are all built out here to help our customers keep their house in order. And moving forward, giving them the tools and analytics to understand if they're being overcharged, ability to go and collect their credits back from the distribution center. They can identify where there's substitutions that may be occurring in their supply chain, as well as the opportunity to identify certain categories that they may have not put under contract today. So where do they go? Well, here we have supplier discovery. This is a database of over 9,000 suppliers that our customers can go in and connect directly with. Here, as you can see in my chicken category, I've got a list of suppliers that I purchased from, but also a list of other suppliers that I may want to contact as I may be growing or finding suppliers for added capacity. Each supplier has their own profile that they provide information to the operator community, contact information of folks that they can reach out directly to, product catalogs, category types, locations of their plants, and the ability to connect with operators in a number of different ways. We briefly talked about our pricing entry portal, and a future demo, we may talk about our food service incident management component. But to round off today's demonstration, we'll talk about our sourcing platform. Customers can go and reach out directly to those contacts in supplier discovery, first by what we call supplier inquiry. This allows our operators from different folks in their own home office, could be culinary, marketing, supply chain teams, and they can go and build their own questionnaires in response back to the suppliers and have that initial engagement to start a relationship with the supplier community. Now, from that point, that might evolve into something more formal. We even have an RFP solution that allows the operators to go and craft an RFP. As you can see here in a chicken tender example that I provided, I've got a list of rounds of an RFP, documentation, certain products that I'm purchasing from. But the key about our platform that it's all data driven. Volume, contracted spend already lives into the platform itself, making it really easy for an operator to set up and engage in an RFP cycle. Tapping into those contacts here in the supplier discovery we saw a moment ago, and officially running that RFP all online. These are some of the tools that we provide in ArrowStream Central, and I appreciate your time allowing us to share that. And I think now we may open that up for some questions.
Thanks, Michael. Appreciate that. Great job as usual. You know what I thought we might do? Are you guys seeing my screen okay?
Yes, Tony.
Great. Before we get into the Q&A, I thought I would take just a moment to share what some of our customers are saying about ArrowStream. Let me just get my screens right here. And so in terms of value, excuse me, I got a little technical difficulties here. Thank you. ArrowStream has been really transformational and game-changing for most of our clients. In terms of some specific examples, Mitch Plesha, VP of Distribution at Raising Cane's, noted that ArrowStream fundamentally changed their supply chain approach. This sentiment is a very common refrain for our customers who consistently tell us that ArrowStream enabled them to finally, as Michael said earlier, get their house in order, stop reacting and start really proactively managing their critical supply chain processes and data. A similar sentiment by Joe Hinton at Brinker, touting ArrowStream as one of the best business decisions they've ever made, delivering visibility and decision support around all of their most critical pricing, category, and inventory data. Without exception, customers tell us that they wish they had made this decision to switch from manual processes to ArrowStream Central years before. I think these stories and countless more like them illustrate the irresistible benefits and value that our platform delivers. So thank you again for everybody. With that, we'll go ahead and open it up for questions. And I see we did have a few come in during the session. The first one is, you mentioned collaboration. Can I interact with my distributors or my supply chain partners on this tool? Yes, I think Michael covered that a little bit. Mike, can you kind of comment on that and talk about how customers are using their, leveraging this to connect with their network?
Sure. There are, I would say, 3 points of collaboration that our operators are working with. And I'll start here primarily with the supplier community. One is an engagement of keeping their pricing terms up to date, which may change at different frequencies over the course of the year. Number 2 is really around building relationships. I highlighted a couple of those components, or supplier inquiry. Think of it more of like an RFI function. I can broadcast out some questions to potential suppliers that I might want to build a relationship with, and a more formal version of an RFP that allows those folks to put in some formal pricing terms, maybe onboard new products alike. The third component, which we didn't show today, which is what we call food service incident management. And that brings all 4 parties, the restaurant location, the corporate office, the distributor, and the supplier. So in the case that there is a product issue, let's say some wilted lettuce or a crushed case, how do I engage all 4 of these parties, documenting that particular delivery issue and work its way all online through a resolution, which could, of course, include a credit. And there are some other components here around reporting, but I think that those are the 3 things to highlight for today's discussion.
Gotcha. Great. Thank you. Appreciate that. The next question is around inventory. How often is inventory updated in ArrowStream? Michael, can you take that one?
Sure. For most of our distributors, we're receiving inventory updates 3 times a day. So you think of everything that happens from a pick for delivery, receipts into the distribution center, and of course the sorting that may go on within the distribution center itself. So those 3 primary updates come into our solution. But I think the key is what we do is then we populate the exceptions, highlighting to the operator users, here are the things that are most concerning for you today, so you can very quickly focus and pay attention in case there's a recovery effort needed.
Gotcha, thanks. I get that question quite a bit in daily business here around, I know customers will tell me that, they already get inventory visibility through their distributor. What would you respond to that with in terms of what ArrowStream delivers that you can't get from your existing feed from your distributor?
Sure, I think it's the fact that we're highlighting where the potential concerns are. Most customers, when I speak to that they have access to inventory data, it's still requiring them to download a report, work some Excel magic, if you will, to uncover those opportunities. We're presenting those to them and then giving them the feedback tools and what the recovery effort might be, highlighting where inventory may be sitting in another distribution center to pull from, or giving them instructions on how to adjust an inbound purchase order in the case that needs to get done.
Great, thank you, Michael. The third question we have, I think it's the last one on our list here as well. How much does it cost? I'll field that one. So in terms of how we structure our pricing, it's customer specific. So we work with each client to ensure that we're delivering sufficient value. I will say that it's a good value for both small and large. We have 20 location customers up to customers that have thousands and thousands of locations. So from a price to benefit perspective, it's appropriate for the small all the way up to the very largest, it scales as well. So as you look at yourself in terms of your size today, I just encourage people to take comfort that as you scale and grow, you won't run out of headroom or runway, if you will, with the ArrowStream solution. The last point I'll make on that, and again, if anybody wants more specifics in terms of what an investment summary would look like for their business, we're happy to work with you offline and come up with that. But I'll tell you that our customers typically tell us that they would have to hire 2 or maybe more people and add those to the supply chain team to even come close to getting the level of improvement that we deliver with our platform. So again, if there's specifics, we're happy to work with everybody to talk about what that might look like for your specific situation. And we want to thank you guys all for joining us today. Really appreciate that. For more information, obviously you can go to our website, www.arrowstream.com. But if you'd like some more information or to talk more specifically about your unique situation, feel free to reach out to me via email or phone. My contact information is here. I'm also available on LinkedIn. You can find me pretty easily, Tony Elwood, ArrowStream Sales Director. But thank you again to everybody for joining us for today's session. We look forward to seeing you at future sessions. We'll be hosting more of these in the future, and have a great rest of your day. And that concludes our presentation for today. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, everyone.